You probably already know that HubSpot is great at telling you where your leads are coming from. They've got those original traffic source properties and latest traffic source properties with all kinds of information that's super helpful. But the one thing that HubSpot's not very great at doing is telling you what that latest traffic source was at a point in time in the past, especially when you're reporting across all of your contacts or companies. So for example, what was the latest traffic source right before they became a marketing qualified lead? They did a bunch of things after that. That latest traffic source keeps updated. So you may want to stamp that property at that time so that you can go back and do reporting on that later. And that's what we're going to show you how to do today. Let's dive in. All right. So first thing you're going to need is a property that you can store the value on. So we've got a property here called MQL source. So you can go to your settings and properties, make sure under contacts. You can also do this for companies. And we've got this MQL source property, and it's just a single line text property. By the way, you can take the same flow that we're creating here, the same process, and do this at all kinds of different conversion points. So we're focused on MQL today, but you could do it for any other conversion point where you want to store this data. And we're going to be using the latest traffic source property, but if you've got custom source properties, you can use that as well. So we've got the property. Now we just need to go over and create the workflow. So we're going to bounce over to our automation and our workflows, and we're going to hit create workflow from scratch. And this one's going to be based on filter criteria. So we're going to do that for our contacts. Again, you can do this for companies if you want. But we're going to base it on the contact property of lifecycle stage. And we're going to do that when it is a marketing qualified lead. Now, there might be some nuance for you if your system is set up so that people can skip stages and they can skip marketing qualified lead. You may want to account for that. So maybe marketing qualified lead, sales qualified lead, anything following that. And for re-enrollment, similarly, if your system allows people to be recycled and go back through the process, you may want to have re-enrollment on. For our use case today, we're just going to keep things very simple and assume that people are going to hit the marketing qualified lead stage, not skip it, and that they're only going to do that once, and we'll save and continue. All right, so the next thing we want to do is do an edit record action. And we want to set that new property we just created, so MQL source, and we're going to put the value of the latest traffic source property into this property. So we can just search for that over here. Latest traffic source. So now it's going to copy that value into our MQL source property. And our workflow is already done. Can you believe it? It's that easy. Now we can do all kinds of reporting based on this MQL source property. One of the reports I love to do is take a bar chart and use your date entered marketing qualified lead on your x-axis, your count of contacts on your y-axis, and now you can break down by this MQL source. So if you add those properties in there, what you'll see is if you change your x-axis aggregation to monthly, you'll see by month how many people became marketing qualified lead, and it'll be broken down by the source that they had to your website right before that happened. So I find that to be a super helpful report. So we've got this workflow done. Only thing we need to do is put the final touches on it. So we'll give it a nice name. So we'll say stamp source. It's MQL. So you've got naming conventions, things like that. You can, of course, use those. We're going to have AI generate a nice little description for us. Always do this last. HubSpot's going to look at the triggers and steps and create a nice little description for us. We'll hit save, and we'll go to turn this on. This is a workflow that you definitely want to select no here. It's not going to retroactively fill in the correct information. So this is only going to give you this information from the point in time you build this workflow forward. So build it sooner rather than later, but make sure you hit no here. You can review all the details. I know that they're all good, so I'm going to skip the turn on and go ahead and turn on that workflow. That's all there is to it. Very, very easy. For more tips, tricks, and tutorials, make sure you check back and make sure you hit that subscribe button. We'll see you next time.